Islam, Morris. I'm Brother P. Miles Ill, Grand Sheik of Temple number 13, or as we say here, GSOT13, on the Workshop of the Mind, Series 1. We're going to give a few minutes to my brother, man. Then happy Holy Day. And I'm waiting on Brother Noble L to tap in. We've been having a powerful discussion. Really kind of like all day I've been having these powerful discussions. Every since the start of the day. Workshop of the Mind. Got the brother coming in. He called me. My mom, sister, EC Bay. You might know her as Eartha Shamlison Bay. She called me. We was able to demonstrate on some science, different measures of the day, and so it's been truly a blessing on all fronts. On this holy day, the frequency is high. So I'm just waiting on the brother to tap in on the Workshop of the Mind Series 1, because we was discussing, like I said, so powerfully and so beautifully. I wanted to share it with you all. I wanted to share it with the world and our supporters, our other members, and this leading into tonight's meeting. Tonight's meeting is going to be electrifying. Make sure you subscribe right now, not only here at Brother El-Bashaw on YouTube. Click the bell so you get all notices. You can be always a part and parcel of this said government, and subscribe to msta13gov.com. Brother G-Von L, Islam.
Islam. Yeah, I said, let me tap in and see if he on it right now. I know you were saying tonight, though. I was just say he might be on it right now.
Oh no, we on right now. This is the Workshop of the Mind, Series 1. I was just doing a little intro, telling everybody how we getting ready. We're gonna have a meeting in a minute, at 7:30. But we was dropping a measure, so I didn't want to miss out on that measure. I didn't want the people to miss out on that measure either. So anyway, let's go back into the hold on. Oh, that's what it is. Let me tap in on my computer. But anyways, you can go ahead and finish that, man. We was talking about you gotta remind me. Islam, can you hear me?
So I can hear you. Yeah, I was coming in the house. I was trying to help get a couple of things together. I hear you, though. I'm trying to sit down.
Let me pull this up here. Islam, man, giving all praises due to Allah, alhamdulillah, Allah Rakba, and who is this? And honors to the Prophet and to all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. Honors to Marcus Garvey, forerunner to the Prophet, and honors to all of the Moorish leaders, past and present. With yeah, we gotta keep. You say we gotta focus on moving the temples forward, moving the movement forward, moving our people forward.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to be trying to further the prosperity of our neighbors. Our brothers especially. My baby was just fucking. Where's my? I'm right here. I'm good. Listen, yeah. Listen.
Can you hear me?
Definitely, man. Okay.
Let me see here. I'm gonna share my screen. So that's what I was. Damn, it's still making that noise. This what I was breaking down last Sunday school. We were doing a reaction, basically like a little reaction at the same time. We were doing a reaction to the Moors.
Right.
I said, that's so. Then I said, I go with you to the temple then at 3603 and Avenue. Then I go the first night that during 1925, and I enter into the 3603 and Avenue. Then I have a chance to see the prophet that I heard of through my brother. When he come from the back part of the building, come to the front, we all said he stood up. And when I looked at him, I said, within myself, I said, I never seen a man look like this man before. And he was the prophet Raleigh. Then therefore, after that later, I come in, first night I came, I got my identification card. Then after that, I stayed a good while, and I got married. And therefore, then
So basically, I let the Moors start us off for Sunday school,
It's fine.
and they gave their first-hand accounts on dealing with the prophet,
Right.
and it's way back in mid
That
1900s.
is all.
No. That's long after mid
Then later
1900s.
years, we going on, they sent me out on the field. Then I left that doing that in 1929. And 25 I left and went on out on the field, stopped in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, on one of the head official, Brother Krim Bay. He was a governor at that time I went to say into Pittsburgh. And I stayed there a while. Then from that I went on into Baltimore, Maryland. During 1925 and 28, I and my brother, the prophet sent him to me and Marie. Then we opened up the first temple on Sharp Street. We opened the temple there. Then we moved from Sharp Street over further to the west part of the town. And my brother, he went into the east side, opened up temple with the sister that I went with him. And took him.
So that's the same thing you saying that you want to do. I mean, I don't want to say want to do, but that you was focused on achieving is opening up temples, setting aside temples. That's the work of a divine ministry. And the sheiks and the sheikas says to set aside temples. And the prophet had these brothers here, my forefathers, he had set them aside to go out and open up temples. That's what he given the account of.
Right.
He's giving an account of that. He said, hey, we was charged directly by the prophet, Noble Drew Ali.
Right.
He told me, he said, go help your brother go open up them temples. That's what he explained it. He said, go help your brother open them temples up. And we went to Baltimore, Maryland to go establish the movement. And then he's giving the account in chronological order how that took place.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite videos, man. Just to let the cat out the bag. I done studied that video a few times, and I had to watch it again. One day, it gave me them goosebumps, man. I had tears in my eyes, man, early in the morning. He said, "Go watch this again," and I said,
"Right,
it wasn't strange happening." I met his daughter, you know.
Yeah, exactly. And now his grandson, his great grandson,
right?
And right, and so the sister and her. Reality, she always explained to me, I was raised by my father because they had lost their mother, which is my great grandmother, I believe, either from illness, a terminal illness, or something to do with a pregnancy on her last one or the other. But they had lost, she had lost her mother. I think she was about 13, if I'm not mistaken, according to the story. And so she was raised by her father and her uncle, men. So that's why her personality is cultivated that way, and that soldier front line defense, hardcore skin, toughest is ever. You know what I'm saying? And it's straight up, you know, either you for or against attitude. It ain't nothing in between that, and that's because of the upbringing. That's because of that development by her father. And for her being a sister in the movement and a leader in the movement, she was going to have to be tough.
Right.
She was going to have to be tough without a shadow of a doubt. And so that's why I always explain to my family, when they, you know, grandma's pretty tough. And I say, look, she was bred that way. She was bred that way. And growing up in Chicago, Cabrini Green's projects, it ain't no joke. It ain't a joke. You know what I'm saying? So you had to have a certain personality and a certain will about you to survive those conditions. And so that's one of the reasons why we pay homage and give honors to the sister for her divine work and contribution, and have a divine patience, because we understand, well, at least I do.
Right.
And my understanding of leadership is to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. And the way that I do that is to go into that person's upbringing, to understand in totality who they are and why they think the way they think, and their concepts are shaped the way they shape. Because it just don't come from nothing. It comes from experiences, the ups, the downs, the goods, the bads, and all of the efforts that was put in to shape how you think, to shape how you move, to shape your reality. So I went into her childhood to go into her parents, to go into their parents, and not just their parents, but their relationship with the prophet. And how did that change? Because as they telling you in that same video, man, we was in the church. We was pastors in the church. And we come outside the church and we see a brother talking about, you want to know, do you want to know your national? You want to go meet Jesus? That's what they told him. He told him that you ain't black, Negro, color.
And so they can understand when I give account to who Noble Drew Ali is. He is Jesus. And I know, and he came back because chapter 2 told you that a word was not going to be lost. He came at the beginning. Ali came at the end. You know what I'm saying? With the same message. And it's about, it's about knowing who Jesus is to us. You know what I'm saying? And like I say, it could be either way. You can see him as the divine person he was on earth, or you can know that spirit that was upon him was the Muslim, that angel spirit. That's what made him move and operate under the will of Allah, in agreement with Allah.
Right. 100%.
And like I said, I started going into the church trying to get the pastors to hear the prophet, because I know that the prophet went in there and dealt with them. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of my missions today, and I didn't work with the pastor. Something didn't tell me to do it. I was listening to Ali. It wasn't about me just being there. It was about me knowing if I can get his message across or not. You know if it's working or not. You know if they want to hear it or not.
Mm.
It didn't take him long to come up out of there. Like my wife, it didn't take her long to come out the church. It didn't. Once she understood some things, I said, okay, let's go to the temple. Once we got there, it was the first. She had already learned the foundation. It was already laid for it, you know?
So you ain't have to do, it's just it just feels natural. It just feels natural. And that's what they were, that's what they encountered with the prophet and his disciples at that time. They said, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, I want to go see Jesus. He said, yeah, I want to go see Jesus. And he said, well, come on. He said, they was down there. And he said, before you know it, a man walked out. He said, I never seen a man like this before.
No.
I never seen a man like this before. And he told me, he said, come children, come and learn the truth about your nationality and birthright. You all Asiatics. And I say, whoa, I say, these Moors encounter, that's like having an encounter with an extraterrestrial being.
Mm-hmm. They right there looking at them. They know it's on them. It's
you
like,
know,
yeah, that's what it's like dealing with.
That holy zeal was on.
A foreign thing.
and what a way to start Sunday school, right? What a way to lay down that legitimacy. Because I used to watch, if you watch any of those Asian karate films, or even now they got something like a Mortal Kombat, them brothers from Asia, they'd be like, I'm Liu Kang, descendant of Kang. You know, they off the rip. Once they announce they giving that, they go right into their descendant. I'm a descendant of such and such.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like so what a way to start a meeting when I can bring out that genealogy. Oh no, this ain't what I was talking about earlier. No, this ain't something by mistake. Oh no, this by prophecy. This was written.
Right.
That the third and fourth generation was gonna come into the temples with their eyes wide open. I'm standing on the fourth generation with our eyes wide open. I say, man, you know what? Let's put this measure into the because we have some time before we're starting. I said, let's like a layup line. You know, remember layup line? You hooping back. This layup line, right? Let's get everybody ready to receive the prophet, because the prophet finna take you straight to the highest plane of spirit life to meet the great God Allah. That's what I love about the transition.
Right.
It's just a transition period for us, you know. And every time I go to anytime I'm dealing, and we were talking about this earlier, the feds. Look at the prophet in his royal guard. Every time you see the prophet, he in his royal guard.
He garbed up.
Every time you see the prophet, he's in. That's what we was talking about earlier. He's in his royal guard.
Is that the one? That's the one I seen with that vest on.
The more in his royal, and look at that green star, right? The more his royal guard, right? And so, let me put this. All right. Put that on there. So let me drop the screen real quick. We talking about and then look at these Moors. How these Moors, look at their dress code. They in their royal guards. These Moors get it. These Moors don't got to be convinced.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Right.
And he said, no, I'll get loose and get up and get out of the chair, and none of you got to help me. Just drop a white sheet over me. And that's what they did. So we see. Okay, well, we've been talking with Brother I-Cafe and Brother G. The Asiatic nations of America.
Hold on, let me go back. I want to
Look at me.
hear a little bit from Brother I-Cafe, my uncle.
John Green, said, without a name, you're not recognized by no nation. Now, I found that out to be true. So the Holy Prophet did a great work, you know. He laid the foundation for us. And he said, now I'm laying the foundation, you all build on it.
Build on.
I'm the one laying the foundation. And so I see him did great miracle. He demonstrated what you might, we call a drummer day. He had him that he do a magician work, put him in the boat. And said, now I'm going to lay Johnny Brother Tommy, not one of the members. And they tied him good in hand, and I mean whole fashion. And he said, now I'll get loose and get up and get out of the chair, and none of you got to have to just drop a white sheet on me. And that's what they did. So we
so look at this right here. Now, I was breaking down the measure in the last Sunday school. That's what we was breaking down. We were talking about national identification card. In it, we was breaking down the two components, which is really a lot of operative components going on here. But you got the nationality piece, and then you got the identification piece. And like I was pointing out, every time you see the prophet, he in his royal garb. You see the brothers, but the G. Cook Bay and brother I. Cook Bay, they were in their royal garbs. Even the Moorish reporter, she was in her royal garb.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you go to the law definition of identity, it's breaking down that identification is proof of identity. The proving that a person, subject, or article before the court is the very same that he or it is alleged, charged, or reputed to be, right? And they gave some examples in there of what they was talking about in relationship. And then two, what is identity, which is the root of identification.
Right.
And identity in law of evidence. So now we're dealing with the law of evidence, right? So when you think of evidence, you think about going to court, right? You got to bring your what? You got to bring your evidence. Okay. And so in law of evidence, sameness. You got to be the same as what you claiming to be.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be the same. You can't say you Moorish American, you are here moving like a Negro, black, and color. One minute you a Moor, next minute you something else. You got to be the same. So just because you carry a national identification card, but if you ain't the same as what that article's saying, then that's fraud. It said the fact that a subject, person, or thing before a court is the same as it is represented, claimed, or charged to be. Your phone, oh, it's unmuted. What you were saying?
No, I was asking my wife a question, actually.
Oh, okay.
No. She said something I couldn't hear what she said.
Did you hear that last definition?
Yeah, the law of sameness, the evidence.
Yes, the identity when it comes to the law of evidence. So there is a law regulated by evidence, or the law that regulates evidence. So in a law of evidence,
right,
meaning that as soon as you hear the word evidence, it's in reference to a court. And I was telling you earlier, the Moorish ministers has judicial authority. Judicial was dealing with the courts, making determination, right? And it dealing with controversies or whatever the case may be, any kind of controversy within the Moorish side, within our dominion, within our jurisdiction.
Right.
And now here come the term, you say court, you got to say jurisdiction, meaning that the court has jurisdiction. Well, what makes our courts have jurisdiction? What makes our ministers have jurisdiction? Well, we're in the Moroccan Empire.
Right.
It's just that simple. Where you get that information? Chapter 47.
Right.
Well, how do you know you a judge? How do you know you a judge? Well, it's called, let me go to it.
Magistrate subject.
You know where I was going. I'm going straight to magistrate and subject. And a lot of times we can't miss out, excuse my language, we can't forget master and servant.
Right. Correct.
That comes before magistrate and subject.
That's the missionary work. That's the servant work. That's the
to remove you from solicitudes of life. And now you are a humble servant. Your duties is your pleasure.
mm-hmm.
Meaning that you understand that you're serving at the will of the nation, at the will of Allah.
Islam.
For the nation, for the benefit
Right.
of the nation. That's what's important, because in magistrate and subject, that's what it take you to. It said, hey, this, matter of fact, I don't want to, what chapter is that? 40 what? Oh, I'm page 30. It's page 38, chapter.
Yeah. 28.
Chapter 29. And it says the divine instruction 1 from the divine instruction from the Holy Prophet. It says, O thou favorite of heaven, whom the sons of men, thy equals, have agreed to raise to sovereign power.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing I want to point out.
I hear you.
They said the prophet didn't bring sovereignty.
Yeah. You hear.
Yet here it is, the prophet saying that is using the term sovereign. He said thy equals have agreed to raise to sovereign power. So all of us are sovereign because we're equals.
Mm-hmm.
So we raising you, we agreeing to appoint you to represent the nation,
Mm-hmm.
to represent our interests. That's government. So this is the science of government that's being conveyed to us
Mm-hmm.
out of the Holy Quran, Circle 7.
How to build the nation up. It's going to tell you how to build your kingdom up and run a peaceful society, the right kind of society.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's preparing the young princes, the young guiders, the young magistrates to lead on principle. The principle is what everything is about. Without the principle, you don't have nothing. You don't have no true wealth. And so we got to get back to the principle. Remember, he said the reason why we talked about that earlier, what happened in 1774 to the Moors.
Right.
Because they what? They honor not the creed and principle. Like we pointed out earlier in some of our conversations, we talked about, when we see some of our brothers and sisters that's Moorish American, they out there, next thing you know, they have no, I'm gonna put it like this in a nice way. They don't have no principles. What happened to the principle?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now it's okay for you to do something that you know you ain't supposed to be doing. What happened to the principle?
Right.
So it's okay to ignore that's the law. Remember, principles are laws. So it's okay to ignore the law when it's convenient? No, the law must live. And all of us is subject to the law. By being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of this said government. You must obey the laws of the government.
I hear you.
That's in your divine covenant. You can't decide one day. And if you do decide that and don't repent, well, you can return back to the state where other prophet found you. That's embezzlement of the faith. That's a charge. The prophet said the charge is embezzlement of the faith. So therefore, you are a judge. You are an officer. Once again, he's conveying civics to us. He's conveying the science of government. But like he said, oh, thou the favorite of heaven, whom the sons of men, thy equals have agreed. Agreed meaning contract. So your rule is by way of contract. We got to agree to that. So this is universal principles, right? As the prophet said, hey, I'm a universal prophet. My philosophies are universal. So this is universal law. This is divine law. This applies anywhere on the planet Earth. This is why you got constitutional republics. The Constitution is Muslim law, which comes from the law of isonomy, equal rights and equal justice for all men and mankind. The law of isonomy. That's why the prophet using these key words. 1 equals, 2 agree, 3 sovereign. I ain't even went nowhere yet. We still in the first instruction. So he talking about the agreements from your equals that's going to raise you to sovereign power. He talking about the vote, the election. He talking about the system now. This is elections. That's what you have in constitutional republics. You have elections. The people got to agree to your sovereign power. People got to agree. That's why them Europeans and the rest of the world is up in the uproar talking about the elections was rigged. What you mean the election was rigged? We sitting around here don't know what's going on. What? Somebody has deprived you of your birthright, your sovereign right? Who did that? Who got that kind of power and authority? His power and authority must be beyond the great universal God Allah, the great God Allah. So where you get all this from? I'm right here in the Morris, I'm right here in the Holy Koran. These are key terms. Let me say, we are the revealers of the light, the interpreters of the ancient scrolls, which has been passed down to us from our ancient forefathers. It's a saving power. According to the prophet, it's a saving power. I say, huh? What does that mean? Say about it stops people from putting you where? Back in slavery. On the principles of what? Love, truth, peace, freedom. And whenever those principles are violated, justice then must take its course. This is how Jesus ended up popping up on the scene, manifested in the flesh. What's going on? Who's that? Justice, brother Justice, prophet Justice coming. What's going on? What's going on? Who taught y'all that heaven was in the sky? Who taught y'all that? Just that demonstration alone freed the people. That's what I love doing. I love freeing the people, giving them all the keys they're looking for. Here, take that, take this. You want some more keys here? I got some more keys for you. I got some more keys for you. Why not? You looking for freedom? Let's go. Freedom is in the knowledge, is in the Gnostics of yourself. Know thyself and our Father God, Allah. And so he says, thy equals have agreed to raise the sovereign power and set as a ruler over themselves. Consider the ends and importance of their trust. Uh-oh. Here come the trust. Come another way. Here come prophet teaching trust law again. Come the prophet teaching trust law again. In God we trust. Now, mind you, that's English language. So when you translate that over to Arabic, and Allah we trust. What blew my mind, I would say blew my mind, but what made sense to me is when you go through the treaties, and the treaties let you know, it start off in the introduction, it lets you know, it gives you all the legitimacy, authenticity, let you know this has been translated into English. Certified copy has been translated over in English. Because why? They taking it from Morocco, the courts of Morocco, and they bringing it back over to Congress. So in order for Congress to be able to read it, a bunch of Englishmen, you got to translate it over where? In English. And they English term for God, and the English term for God, for Allah, is God. The great God, Almighty. So the prophet says here, consider the ends and importance of their trust far more than the dignity and height of thy station. So when I teach, when I'm going up against the good fight, I say I'm a service provider on behalf of the members, on behalf of the people. That's what I work for. If you a grand sheik, you a servant, and the servant is where the others higher. If you a Moorish American, you a servant to humanity. So you being set aside and armed with the maximums of truth and with judicial authority, you got a great responsibility. You got a great responsibility. So the prophet said, don't be out here under any motives, under the influence of any motives. Don't be out here off no liquor, teaching no group of Moors. You say one crime for you is worse than, what do you say? Is worse than what?
Punishment.
So it's like, that's that etiquette again. That's why we see him in his royal guard. That's why we see the prophet in his royal car. Like he demonstrating a higher science all the time.
Right.
He ain't into that. He ain't into that. You can't do that. That's why you see, like, even with me, like you would catch me here a lot. Cause it ain't, you know, oh, brother Ill, or you know, whatever they want to call me, Prince, come on out. I'm finna go to the, you know, I'm straight. I can't be out there. I can't be in certain circles, not on a negative way, but I understand the outcomes. I understand what I represent, not as I can't go chill with the courtesans. I can't go talk with the drunkards and the thieves. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I understand the elements of what's happening within that atmosphere, and it ain't got nothing to do with me. It's time for these brothers and sisters to come in here now. Mm-hmm. I done been to the bars. I done been to the clubs with my fez and turban on. I done been to the courts and to the gyms and everywhere I was told to go. I done been there. I done met them where they at. Now it's time for them to come on high. Come on up here to the third heaven. The angels done came down. They've been cast down. You see what I'm saying? Now it's time for you to come on up to the kingdom of heaven with that Father God Allah. And so I think what I'm really saying is that there's a difference in my behavior and what I'm willing to participate in and what I'm not willing to participate in.
Right.
I'm not going, if I can not put myself in harm's way, I'm going to exercise that right every single time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A wise man always doubteth, and I know the motives. You know what I'm saying? I know the motives. I know the intent. It's like going into the wilderness, like Jesus did, with those tempting thoughts. And so it's like, nah, I'm good. I study. I sit here and read. And I got some work to do right here.
Right. And it's kind of ironic because that's the kind of things that Allah do. He'll keep you away from certain things. Like me, I have the benefit of saying, I'm a family man. I move my whole family. If I can't bring my children, I don't want to go. So now that stops some of them places that, you know, I could possibly still go myself, or me and my wife could still go. But we let them know we got children. We raising children over here. We ain't just out like that. And so, you know, you got some times you got to deal with these people. You do have to deal with different kind of people, and no matter what they're going through. You know, but Allah protect you, though. He'll keep you out them places he don't want you in, and you got to make the choice.
You got to make a decision, and you got to live by it.
Because you can force the issue and go somewhere and try to figure out, why was I even over here when it all started going bad?
A waste of your energy.
You can't believe that you even put yourself here. Why was I even there? You know,
once you get hit with these degrees,
yeah.
And you really like married to them, you really bind yourself.
Right.
That's when it's going. That's when you privy to those thoughts. Like, what was I even thinking about?
Like, you know, that's why I understand about the soul. Like it says, she is inscrutable. You know, she doesn't know it perfectly, because you're gonna be asking yourself throughout your life, like, where did that thought come from, or what made me think? You know, what made me think that? You know, because you ain't gonna believe yourself, especially when you know that you knew better. But you can get some thoughts. And
that's where, because now it's like when you on that mission, and we on a mission. When we on that mission, right? That 24 hours ain't enough, man.
Right, it ain't.
You look up, you like, oh, Mo, it's 9 o'clock already. Like, man, it's like for example, look at this. I'm gonna show you the time on here. Let me drop my screen. Now, watch this. Peep gang, you see the time, right? 3 hours and 13 minutes, more.
Okay. 3 hours and 13.
3 hours and 13 minutes. And like, what was the more talking about for 3 hours? Right. Like we going, ain't no stopping. I was man,
I had to pull myself out. That's how bad it was. I said, Mo, Islam, Mo. Meetings are open and closed promptly, Mo. I gave myself an extended time. I voted for myself to get extended time.
Yeah, they said to me.
It was so much energy, so much knowledge. We was on the road. It's like once you go in there, you in there. It's like time never was when man was not time. It's time already. Wow.
Right.
It's time. When you on a mission, time moves faster.
Mm-hmm. It does.
When you focus on that mission, it's like, you gotta be kidding me, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, wow, and so going back to what we were just saying, like, dang, I spent my energy over here. I spent my energy over there. Like, what? How did that relate to the movement, though? How did that relate to progress? How did that relate? Everything is measured. Once you become conscious, everything is measured. So it's like, wait a minute, did that move us forward or stand us still? You know, I'm sorry, I love my people, I love my boys I grew up with, but we on a different path.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Like, I'm cool with where I'm at on my journey and my mission and where they at, and where the sisters is at. You know, I'm not cool with the conditions, but I'm cool with the reality that we on two.
Like, it's like you're muted right now. I can't hear you. I don't know if you, like, I don't think you're muted. Did you mute?
I can hardly hear you.
I can hear you now.
And I was just saying that I got joy. You know, I got that hope and love and purity and love and I got that joy, and I'm focused on mastering my craft. I talked to you earlier about, man, look at this. Let me drop my screen real quick. Watch this. I don't even know. Oh, you know what? I have to I still got it, but I have to let me see here. So I do these right here. I do the global watches. Like I said, a little media, whatever, and then we monitor all the different countries, Muslim countries, Christian countries, just all of the different countries and the political, economic activities that's going on in those countries. And then we connect us, the Moorish Americans, and our divine movement to you know, the Holy Quran to it all, so we can see, so we can know. But
He went out again.
dang, oh, here it go right here. I had it on a private tip. Let me see, can I pull this up? So boom.
You also support allegiance to China. And
so this what we was talking about earlier. You see the term Sharif? You see the term Sharif right there?
Yeah, I see it.
Right, the Sharif. And remember, the Prophet is also known as El-Haj. That's what we were talking about earlier. El-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali.
Right.
And which made me go and we looked the word up. You know what I'm saying? So that's just part of the studies. And what do it say? It descended of Muhammad through his daughter Fatima. Oh, this is about a family, about our family.
Mm-hmm.
Entitled the word what? Wear a green turban or veil. That makes it, see how that puts more definition to the green turban?
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? So now you can understand, remember the Moor showed up with a green fez?
Right.
And ain't nobody know what was happening because they didn't study, did they?
Right.
The Moor was on the science, a Muslim ruler, a magistrate, or a religious leader. That's what Sharif means. And then it's translated over in English as what? Sheriff. You see what I'm saying? Sheriff also spells Sharif. Right? And then it breaks it down. It's proper as a proper name derived from the Arabic word Sharif, which means what? Noble. Noble Drew Ali. Highborn, honorable. Aurelian child designated person descendant from the family of the Islamic prophet Muhammad. So that you know how much. Now we added more definition to our prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Sharif, El-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali.
Mm-hmm.
So in the what I was telling you about our little media, the little media I'm trying to build up, look what they're dealing with. We following what's going on over in Pakistan. This the Indian network. You see what's behind her? Our family flag, star and crescent.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that green flag behind her, more with the star and crescent. All of these are what? All of these are Muslims. And what the prophet say, this is what I was telling you about earlier right here. That's what I was explaining to you earlier. Watch this. The reasons these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, more. They had these secrets that held them back from the outside world.
Right.
To the time appointed by Allah. And he said, in the first time in ages have these secret lessons been delivered in the hands of the Muslims of America. Now imagine if you're only watching the Western media news outlets, Fox News, CBS, MSNBC. Well, you don't know what's going on around in the Muslim world. You a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you Muslim, Mo. We the founders of the holy city of Mecca. This concerns us. We supposed to have open dialogue with all the other world leaders. Our leaders are, I'm a leader. I'm supposed to have open dialogue in relations, international relations, foreign relations with our brothers from the East. Hey, look what it says here. He said the industrious acts of the Muslim, Northwest and Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, Hammonites, Canaanites who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua and received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt. So when you receive permission, that permission means license. Permission means authority. Permission means a mandate. Permission means title.
Mm-hmm.
So these Moors, the Moabites and their brethren received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt. You know what that means? It's a pre-existing claim. It's an ancient claim.
Right. Right.
He said, well, wait a minute, before any of this was going on, we received permission. This was on page 3. And then he got the house of Saud, the first king of Saudi Arabia, to provide the legitimacy of the claim. All rights of publishing of this pamphlet in 1927. That's our stuff. That's our wealth. And the reason why you didn't know this is because the Muslims of India, Palestine, and Egypt held them back from the outside world until the prophet came. The prophet supersedes any other sovereign king, a sultan. The prophet supersedes. The prophet is the messenger of Allah, man.
Mm-hmm. And
he came, he said, I got to get behind you Moors. So what does that say about you? If I'm giving all this to the prophet, all this acclamations, all this honors, what does that say about you? Because he said, I came to get you. I came to free you from mental slavery. His focus was you and me. So I'm telling you all about the prophet. Oh my God, this brother, da, 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 da. What does that say about me? I'm a royal heir. That's what it says. I'm a royal heir. Your nationality and identification card is a credit card, man. You got the gold and the silver, the oil and the natural resources. You got all governments. How can you, why wouldn't you focus on opening up dialogue concerning your estate, your royalties? What? Your interest. Somebody owe you. What, you crazy? The moment you fulfill the covenant, which is in Acts 6, Acts 7, really the divine covenant, but it states that proclaim your nationality and your free national descent name. And you are recognized. Oh, recognition is important. The moment you recognize your ancient ancestors, they recognize you. Because no man at law has any obligation to recognize your birthrights if you don't honor your prophecy. I came to bring back the true and divine creed of Islam. What is y'all talking about? You are the true and divine creed. As you just heard my forefathers say, the prophet said, I came to lay the foundation, y'all build on it. And what have I been talking to you about? Man, I'm building a mosque. I'm building a temple. From the ground up, they got the community center. They got the medical center. They got the housing component. They got the agriculture component. It's about security. The people hold our expenses covered by the swords. We the founders of the holy city of Mecca. Look, what the prophet said, this ain't me. The prophet said that we built these kingdoms known this day. Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. Guess who got all the oil? The Muslim kingdoms. So yeah, I'm watching what Pakistan got going on. The Muslims, they flying our family flags. Them our family flags. That's our stuff. The prophet said the names and symbols is covered by copyrights and registration. That lets you know he made a claim. He made a claim on the flag of Islam, the symbol of Islam, the heart of it. That's our stuff.
Hey, I'm with you.
That's in it. We ain't even we in the first. We on page 3. Know thyself. That's why I said I take you to the prophet. Prophet gonna take you to Allah. Allah is reading the heart. He taking you right back to yourself. You think you finna go somewhere else? You're like, oh, where am I at? You in the mirror. I mean, not in the mirror, but you looking at yourself. You're like, whoa, wait a minute. Yes, more. It's on you. Don't be talking about what the prophet did. What did you do in conjunction with the prophet? He laid the foundation for you to build on. He made the claim. He made the claim and filed it for the record as evidence in the law of evidence. You must be the same as what you claim to be, as what you represent. Oh, you perping? As we say in the street, you know, we say in the slang world, oh, you perping, cuz. Cuz perping, man, he ain't about that for real, right? You know what I'm saying? That can get you killed in the street. You out here talking about you gangster, it go down, and you ain't gangster at all. You, oh my God, what am I doing here? It's on the floor. You can be prosecuted all the same. You can lose your life, or you can take somebody else's life, perpetrating like you a part of something that you really not. That's why the prophet say, know thyself and thy father God Allah. What is Allah? Higher self. What is higher self? See, he broke that down. So you ain't got to wonder. That's why I teach my mama, whoever can. You ain't got to worry about where the prophet stood. He put all his in writing. He made sure you knew that it wasn't no such thing as the devil. If man must find the devil, he must look within. You the devil. Why you do that? What is you thinking about? You in a lower self. What's the lower self? Lower self breathe. I go straight to it. He who knows well his lower self knows the illusions of the world, knows of the things that shall pass away. He who knows his higher self knows Allah, knows of the things that cannot pass away. The lower self is rich in promise, but poor in blessedness and peace. It offers pleasure, joy, and satisfying gain, but gives unrest, misery, and death. The lower self breeds hatred, slander, lewdness, murder, theft, and everything that harm. The lower self is an illusion and will pass away. So you ain't even got to wonder no more. And that's when my great grandparents, when they met, they was coming out the church. Let me catch these Moors coming out the church. Bring my Moors back. You hear? I'm going to go get my Moors. Where they at? In the church?
So,
go get my Moors. Where they at? In the church? And they went to the church. Come on up out of there, Moors. You are not black, Negro, and color. You're Asiatics.
I would love to work with some of the people, like I say, man. All of them already, they got the credentials of the prophet. They know what it is, man. And some of them went back to the churches, man. You know, just
all of that.
Honor to pull some of them people out the churches, man, on behalf of how the prophet was working with your family. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, that was powerful. Pull up, and that's some, excuse my language here. I'm gonna have a moment, but that was gangster. I'm gonna pull up outside your block. That was gangster. You know what I'm saying? Like that's thorough, man. That's for real, bro. And look who with my family, because I'm the same way. I'm like, wait a minute. You can feel it. It's an energy. Boy, what do you say? Islam. That sounds familiar. More, you want to go meet Jesus? Absolutely. I want to go meet justice.
You said, well, yeah.
That's why I'm so proud. You know what I'm saying? I was a knucklehead in the street doing things I wasn't supposed to be doing. Always been highly intelligent, always been charming, cares, all the qualities of a prince, right? My name is Prince Ravanna Miles L. So I'm blessed and cursed with that. And I mean that both in a good way. Like no matter what I'm into, I keep those principles about me in front of me, and you can always see that. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I like Cuz right there. He a good brother. You know what I'm saying? Even if I'm in the wrong field,
right?
That's a good brother right there, man. Who and that's how I'm here. But I'm very proud and honored once the switch hit, once the switch happened, once the prophet came to me in the spirit world and revealed himself to me and revealed my assignment to me. And that was in 2011 when that took place. Right. And to see, and not just me, but the community, to see where I was at and where I've come. Like nobody can't take that away from me. Like it ain't about money. I can be on my knuckles, I can be whatever, but nobody can't take that away from me. That's my money. That's the wealth. I was able to absolutely commit to change and to pull myself out of there, both mentally and physically and spiritually. Because I was convinced at a point that I couldn't see a way out. I was convinced at a point that this was it. And then something happened to me. And I never forget what happened. My people, I seen me taking advantage of my people in a weak state. Like those poor toilers. And that consciousness of where I come from arose. More, what you doing? Straight up. Because I got feelings. It's energy. What are you doing, bro? This ain't what it's supposed to be. And then the prophet came to me. Out of that thought process, I'm out being the worst that I can be. Fell asleep. I had the vision. Prophet came to me dressed just like he is behind me, extended his hand to me and told me to rise and clean that mess up. And ever since that day, because I ended up in the courtroom, which caused me to study. And when I studied, everything just opened up. Everything just opened up. I went from the court to the top of the mountain, quickly, fast, abruptly. Something that nobody in my community has never seen before. That's why they still like, I can go anywhere. I go anywhere in my community and it's all 100% love. Hugs. Man, I'm so proud of you. Man, we was rooting for you. We still rooting for you. What's next? Like that hope. It's that hope people need it. I need it. From the common man though, not from a celebrity, not from somebody that, you know, got millions and millions of federal return. No, from a brother who went through all of the stages and formalities of life with his other brother. Mm-hmm. And decided from here and here in the heart to make the change. But I had a guider, is what they not realizing. I had a guider. I can't take all the claim. Mm-hmm. I had a guider. Somebody came and drove me. Well, who was that somebody? No, Drew Ali. He drove me up out. They said the Moabites, they was driven out of the land of Canaan. I was driven out too by the prophet. I said, hey man, you want to get in? Get this ride? I said, yes, sir, I do. And I caught the ride. And I've been rolling ever since. So I'm proud of that. I'm proud to be able to reach back in and then to find out as far as in a comprehensive, as far as in a conscious state, well, what is my genealogy? What is my connection? And it revealed this. I said, what you mean? Like, whoa. What? Whoa. Oh, no, this was supposed to happen how it happened. A man must reach the grades of death in order to reach the grades of heights. Mm-hmm. According to Prophet Jesus in the Holy Quran of the circles of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divine instruction from the Holy Quran.
I was just looking at that, chapter 13. He said, in every walk of life, you know, he said, in every way of life I will walk, you know. And he said, in every school, in every hall of learning, I will sit. The height that any man has gained, these I will gain. And he goes on to say, the highest heights are gained by those who reach their greatest depth. And you should reach the greatest depths, you know. And you know, that's one of the things that's very powerful for me as well. You look up, you was here, you was there, you've been a little bit everywhere, but then you realize that took you to some low points. That showed you the worst you know, it showed you the low you.
Right.
And I had come to the conclusion that when you see people that 1 minute, everything like they got it all figured out, next minute they back down, it showed that they haven't bottomed out yet, you know. Until you bottom out and say that's enough on that end, you can be that much greater on the opposite spectrum, because in all the world, it's two things, the two falsehoods. So just as hard as we go in that falsehood, we turn the switch on to the truth, it's that much more greater. Just think about how effective we can even be in our lower self of manifesting things and doing things. You know, it's a lot of stuff that we were able to acquire and achieve in our lower self, because the devil can do mighty things. But the difference is he can't do all mighty things. So Allah was teaching how to raise our thoughts to omnipotence, you know, the almightiness of Allah, being one with that thought and being wisdom like Allah. See, because that fool, man, we know is about a fool and a wise man at the end of the day. That truth and falsehood going to break down the difference between a fool and a wise man.
And for real, so and that's what gives us, I think they call it purpose. That purpose. And that's the secret to Islamism, is to find your purpose, your connector of what makes this these principles be of significant value. Because these principles are so significant to me, there's a value to it. It's like the barter system. That's why the prophet teaches us, one of the things he say that I cling on to a lot is he say, money don't make the man, right? But this after he broke down the wealth of all governments. He said the wealth of all governments, gold and silver and commerce, belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship, you have no true wealth. And then he said, money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that makes a man and a nation. going back to what I was saying earlier, we supposed to have open dialogue with Pakistan, with Palestine, with Israel, with what Israel is now called, Palestine is now called Israel.
Right.
The leaders of Jerusalem, the leaders of all the Muslim kingdoms.
I want to work with Jordan. We got to work with Jordan too. We got to work with them. The people
Right.
over there in Jordan, they over there playing the
That's
Moab.
right. That's right. Me and you gonna be on the next plane, riding 16 hours over to these nations, going to meet and sit, or vice versa. This is why it's so important for us to build that temple. You know, that castle, that temple. I want to say mosque so bad, but I know in the more science we say temple, but they mosque.
Because the reason why I want to point that out, not because it's really different, it's still a place of worship, but it's because the great Kaaba was the great mosque, and that's what was dedicated to, Ishmael, dedicated to Father Abraham, the same way the temple in Jerusalem was built. Sons of Solomon. He had to rebuild that temple. And I like to compare Noble Drew Ali and Solomon to bringing the temples back up. Noble Drew Ali brought it over here, Eddie, and brought it up. And we could be a part of it today. They refer to us as the children of the temple. So when you say who them people are, them the Muslims. And we built temples up in other places. Some of the people still got their temples up. We had lost ours. The Hindus and all of them still had temples.
And they outbuilding. I just watched them build 3-4 mosques for the Hindus, for the Hindus over here, the Hindu Muslims, and then some of them are Krishna. And then you got the Arabic Muslims. They built the temple over here. So I'm watching it, and now I'm saying it was revealed to me to say to me this. Okay, Prince, you see that? Okay, now it's your turn. And I'm placed in the government as far as the Oakland County is concerned, as far as the municipality of the state. I've been able to take advantage of the political infrastructure here via where I'm domiciled at. So I've been able to, and then my mother and father, my stepfather and my mother being retiree politicians, I've been able to take advantage by extracting the information that I need to empower me educationally. So I can know, like the prophet said, I'm gonna leave these people here long to teach you government. Oh, thank you, they did. And I know how to do that now. I said, well, wait a minute. They apply for grants. They apply for grants. And that grant funding that they got went into building their organization up. Even the churches, not just the temples, the Muslims, but the Christians too. Wait a minute. What are we doing? We need to be applying for those. We need a team assemble, a ministry assemble, of persons that they only focus. Now this is one angle, but their only focus is to identify grants that we're eligible for. And we apply for those grants because we're eligible in every capacity of the term eligible. We got to house our members. Our members are in housing crisis. They're in economic crisis. They're in educational crisis. They're in a public health crisis. So our mission is to uplift fallen humanity amongst the Asiatics of North America. How do you do that? You got to address these several crises through programming, the great program. So I said, wait a minute. I can bring my skill set of what I know and what I know how to do over to this office, thereby literally transforming temple number 13. Whether it's a brother coming in here, brother or sister or family coming in here, because I got several of them on my desk today to fix their credit, remove inquiries, remove negatives, and remove the third-party debt collector's authority over the Moorish property, i.e. the Isle of Bay, and anything registered in the names of the Moorish Americans, which is protected by a will and a declaration of trust. When we were talking about wills earlier, well, the prophet left a will, Acts 7. This divine covenant is issued from your holy prophet. And so therefore, if they not written in the will, now we going into a little bit of estate and trust law. If they not named in the will, they don't have access to the Moorish property. That's a breach of what they call trust, embezzlement of the faith. That's a real charge. These are real terms. But that's me acting in my what? Official capacity as a Moorish American. Number one. Two, as a Grand Sheikh, Islam. It's my job to enforce the law. It's my job to act. I can only be what I know. So I'm bringing all of what I got and I'm pouring it into the temple number 13. All of what I got, all the things that I acquired, because I was sent to acquire those understandings. I was sent on a mission by prophet. So it's really not mine, it's yours. Because we do what we're supposed to do on behalf and the benefit of the people who agreed to raise me to sovereign power. They gave me a mandate. Mo, we need you to come in and do this. A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. I said, no problem. And so when I'm dealing with these other leaders, I say, I'm coming here on behalf of the Moorish Science Temple of America, temple number 13. Mm-hmm. Noble Drew Ali. I said, huh? I said, Islam. No, we the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwest and southwestern shores of Africa. We at home on our land. So now it's a land rights issue. And our power and authority has been on the record since 1928, unrebutted. So this is the fulfillment part. But wait a minute, this is a contract. This is a trust agreement. And then if you want to go to this is protected under constitutional law. So now the claim is preserved in law for the benefit of the heirs. Well, wait a minute, that's me. Yeah, that's you. That's us. We the nation. The Moorish Science Temple of America is the state, i.e. nation, state. Nation is the people. The state is the government. The nation is the people. The Moorish Americans, that's a nation of people. They're descendants of Morocco. Are they Moroccans? Yeah, they Moroccans. Oh, that's the nation. Oh, yeah, that's the nation. And what's the state? What's the governing state? The Moorish Science Temple of America. We adopted our corporate name. We derived our power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. See? Boom. Then here come the bylaws, the divine constitution, the bylaws, which you need. Because in order to establish a trust, you got to have the affidavit of organization, which is our articles of incorporation. Then you got to have, which is a constitutional incorporation, not subject to any unconstitutional statutory law or rule or ordinance, etc. Then you got to have your additional laws, which you got the additional laws to regulate the actions of the members. The bylaws and the additional laws regulate the actions of the members and establish the system of government, the Grand Sheikh, the chairman, the prophet, the grand body, the assistant Grand Sheikh. Boom. All members, all members, all members, all members. Now, what do you mean all members? The Moorish Americans. Who is that? The descendants of the ancient Moabites. Boom. Act 6. We are to teach our people their nationality and their divine creed so they may know that they're not Negro, Black, and colored Ethiopians. And know that they are what? They're part and parcel of this said government. These names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But it's a new era in time now because he showed up. That's what made a new era in time, because the prophet showed up with that knowledge that they've been holding back from the outside world into the time appointed by Allah. This more was serious. This more was serious. This more had heat, fire, and the water. Now I be hearing all these. This was a thought that came to me earlier this week. I say all these more talking about the aliens coming out from the water. They ain't coming from space. They coming out the middle of the water, out of the deep blue sea. They talking about the water is space. And I just cracked up because you know what came to my mind? Way in the water, Marshall. Wow. The prophet done trouble, the water. I say, whoa.
Wow. Did?
I say, whoa. And then we came, the prophet them, the spirit They gave me the water. And we flooded the community with nothing but pure alkaline, 8.3 calcium, magnesium, potassium, and zinc in the water, producing over 1 billion gallons of water a year, pure, moist, divine water. As a matter of fact, they even gave me the nickname as Utnapishtim, which is the name of Noah, or who we know as Noah. And they gave me the name Utnapishtim, which was the original name of Noah, because I flooded the community with water, with real water. I said, whoa, this is powerful. Like the prophet said here, this stuff wasn't given to you. This is for the good of the nation. This is for the good of the kingdom. Let's go back to that. Mo is dropping on us. Mo say, the more say, on page, what was that?
38.
Page 38. He say in Divine Instruction 2, in chapter 29, he say, thou art clothed in purple and seated on the throne. The crown of majesty invested thy temples. The scepter of power is placed in thy hand, but not for thyself. Were these insights given, not meant for thy own, but for the good of thy kingdom. The glory, Divine Instruction 3, the glory of a king is the welfare of his people. His dominion, his power and dominion rest on the hearts of his subjects. The mind of a great prince is exalted with the grandeur of his situation. He evolveth high things and searcheth for business worthy of his power. He called together the wise men of the kingdom. He consulted among them with freedom and hear of the opinions of the man. That'll just make me cry right now, man.
That part right there.
Yeah, that'll just make me cry right now, man. Because they don't understand that. They don't understand that's so powerful, man. He said he called together the wise men of his kingdom and consulted among them with freedom, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the energy we going with right now. We talking about freedom. What's the subject matter? Freedom. We talking about freedom. Freedom of movement, freedom to live, freedom to life. This ain't no life for no Moorish American. We the royal heirs. We the descendants of the ancient Moabites. We the wealthiest people on earth, living the poorest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because of the level of corruption. One word, just corruption. Embezzlement of the faith is the charge. But that's the truth. That's the truth. The fact that it's been corrupted and it's been corruption. Because what happened between what was laid down and now, today? And so what I see is an opportunity to build on that foundation, like my great-grandfathers were saying earlier. The prophet laid the foundation. Now we got to build on it. And I said, well, you know what? I'll take the axe and the hammer. Start pounding this thing together and putting this thing together with our own two hands. And that's our birthright to do so. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It's not all bad. It's not all negative.
And I want to add with that instruction, man, what we doing right here on this platform right now.
I can hear you.
Where that's what a lot of the leaders don't want to do. You know, like right now, you're not being forced to be something else because I'm here and me, you know, you get to be yourself. Whatever you're thinking, whatever you can see, you know, you get to put that information out, and then you want to hear opinions from that. You want to see what people think about your stuff, you know, as well, because you're calling out your wise the people that you're dealing with. But I'm not getting no assistance for the people that say they're the wise men and women. Then we're trying to figure out, you know, what's their allegiance to the kingdom? Is they part of the kingdom? But we do get a lot of leaders, like I say, you know, they don't, you know, they don't consult with no one freely. You know, they don't have it. It's really not even an open dialogue. It's really like, yeah, well, this is what it is, you know. And people don't want to be threw around, bossed around. That's how we lose the members around this place. Because after a person gets tired of being told what to do and they ain't getting nowhere, they ain't gonna feel like it's really even a kingdom to worry about. Okay, What kingdom we talking about? We still be flourishing all over the world, not just in different areas. It should be just one household, one family, you know. But like I say, they don't see it on the nation building. And like you say, the foundation been laid. That's what people come in and do. I call them brick masons. The brick masons come in, they lay the foundation so that they can get the carpenters out. So we like the carpenters now. It's time to come on in, put the tools out, put our belts on. You know, I can work with that compass. I try to keep everything in the bounds of righteousness. You know, my passion and my desire. And that's just something I just wanted to work on, you know, strictly. I keep that hammer on them too, man. You know, gotta keep it. That's a basic tool. Get that hammer. And you pound away with that.
Islam, can you hear me more?
Yeah.
No, we was listening to you. I was just putting up the screen for the website, which is at msta13gov.com. And I was just putting up the screen while you was talking.
Right.
That's all I was doing.
Okay, yeah. I had said what I was saying. That's another thing I'd say, just real conversation. They had a couple things that I seen them do, which was for governor's initiative. But it didn't sound like people came out with open minds to hear other opinions. And so I didn't see how it prospered. I didn't see how it took us nowhere. But it was a great idea, and it's a great way of trying to bring the leaders here together. Pushing something for the state, you know, initiative, a state initiative, you know.
Right. As far as on the governor, I was a part. I threw a few governor's initiatives. It was beautiful.
You know, brothers come out, they hear stuff, but I say it's like after we leave, what next?
So that's what I was saying earlier about we had a boiling point, we had a tipping point, we had a transition period, we had a cardinal point. It's no more. It's all about the results of the action. I do want to point out something. You see that green background?
Right.
This before I even knew about the breakdown of the science right here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, everything just fall in place.
Right.
You know, but this the website, and it's at msta13gov.com. But what it do is, like I say, allows our members and the public to stay part and parcel of all things that's happening here at Temple number 13, and to support any of our ministries that we have in place. And we do our newsletters, we do our videos, whatever you know, you can find out about the public meetings, Friday nights and Sunday night. We got the passcode. We got the active members roster. We got the 13 Divine Ministries. Kind of break it down to the, you know, like I was talking about earlier.
Right.
Ministry of Finance, Education, Public Health and Social Services, Land Development and Real Estate, Ministry of Defense, Sports and Recreations, Ministry of International Affairs, Youth Development, Public Affairs and Outreach. We got the Ministry of Agriculture. You know, breaks down the industrious acts of the Muslims. This was a portfolio of some of the groups of businesses that we had or have access to within our temple portfolio, where a person gets some assistance, whether it's, like I say, junk removal, we got electronics store, we got restaurants, we got the administrative services, we got custom clothing, got business consulting services, you got the breakdown. We got if you want to establish you a trust, a business. You need help with filing your LLCs. You need help incorporating. We got all of that foundational legal components and services available. We got credit restorations, trade lines, credit and financial literacy programs. You know, we got About Us. We got the government set up. This was back when we had, but you know, so, you know, we got all of that. I got to get the pictures updated and stuff like that too. But, you know, we got the emergency declarations, which I was working on. This is a very important component. So I just talked to the other leadership about, each temple supposed to have a declaration of emergency due to the pandemic, which activates additional humanitarian aid funds, grants, programs, etc., to help the temples and its membership. And we are in over 30 cities, 20 some states, and counties. It's a lot. We got access to everywhere. We got the More Flowers program. We got the commercial activities here, religious commercial activities here with the water. And we still add, and we got the tax prep, tax prepare member service for the Moors who want to get their taxes done. We got the Space Force program. We created that on the on Prophet's birthday, called DASFA. And that's the Drew Ali Space Force Administration, which was founded January 8th, 2021. And then we got the More Space Force Academy. So that's what the focus is. We want to get our children involved into the cyberspace industry. We want to get our children in space. We want our children to lead the frontier. So we got a platform where the Moors can donate to our school here. We got our little advertiser. We you know, you can advertise here on our page. We got the More Tech University. Still working on that campaign. But yeah, so we got the technological infrastructure. You know, I just wanted to kind of take you through that really quick. So if it's ever, you know, want to know what's going on, you can't catch me, and we need some assistance. We got to keep updates on here. I'm supposed to have the National Prayer Day up here, all that information. And like I said, we need support here. We need, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're trying to, this in a few minutes from now, I'll be hosting Temple. You know what I'm saying? I'm hosting the media. I'm doing the website. I'm doing the paperwork. You know what I'm saying? I'm grinding to the best of my ability, but I need help. We need help over here. We need super help because, you know, whatever progress we made is too slow.
I hate you, man. I hate you on that.
It's still too slow. I only got two hands, so you know what I'm saying? It requires help. You know what I'm saying? Where there's unity, there's strength, and we don't got the numbers. We need some help over at Temple 13.
And listen, I got a question as far as with the sister Nunley Bay, right? Her suspension is something that you look forward to resolving or changing that position.
Yeah, that's something we'll talk about offline, but
okay, all is well.
All of us,
because I wanted to have a meeting. I didn't want to be having trying to invite nobody to no meeting. I want the sisters to meet you to have discussion, man. You know, because she just kept telling me, she did say the brother that he can use your help. She was like, she said, you know, you sharp and you are sharp. You know what you're talking about. And she knows you're passionate about it. You know, a lot of things that you teach, a lot of people are not going to get it. They don't understand. They didn't study enough. They didn't see it right there like that. It's right there. Then you took it to the next level, which shows how profound it is because you went in depth with it, you know. So that's what I'm just looking at. And we can draw them in, man. I believe the prophet working on building a temple. Like I said, we got people that's been trying to see what we doing, man, and they've been getting discouraged. And I don't be needing people discouraging people. You know what I'm saying? This a bad time. We're supposed to be encouraging these people, especially young ones.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, and I can say that much, man. I tell them all, though, try to reach out to you. I don't know how your schedule be looking as far as just chopping it up with them, but I did tell them. I say, y'all need to reach out to the Grand Sheik out there. And I want to try to put them on the same link. You know, so we could do like a Monday night or something, you know. Hey, you know what? We probably can get on that brother's bond a little bit so that way we can all get a feel for each other with one of them links on Monday night. You know the brother T. Adams Bay out there in Virginia?
No, sir.
Yeah, he had Morris Home #1. Him and his wife, they do the little program called Universal Love.
Oh yeah, I be seeing that. I be seeing it.
Yeah, that brother. They had a program they was trying to do called Brothers Bond, and they had some people working against it, and things just went to the side. But we was able to have some Brother Bond moments on Zoom on Monday nights, and we had some good ones, and allow people to see just everyday conversation. And I'm sure you can teach them because we go in there and it's just like really they want to have like a barbershop conversation, right? Me, I'm a Moorish American even in the barbershop, so you know. But that's why that was the format. Be free, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're going through, whatever you're dealing with, what we want to focus on. And we was having those conversations. I think that'll be a good platform also to bring some brothers in, especially they'll see, you know, that they can reach out to you right here, you know.
I 100% agree. Like I say, you see, I've been on the phone with you for a couple hours, bro. And so if you're talking about progress, you talking about love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, I'm activated.
Right.
I'm activated 100%. I'm activated. I don't even know, like I'm willing to offer my time and space that I have available.
Right.
And any resources that I have to employ, I will use them to the best of my ability. And I'm calling on help. I'm calling for all true Moors, sympathizers, persons of interest, supporters to step up and to aid and assist me in this matter, because my focus is to aid and assist the prophet. The prophet's focus is to aid and assist the Moors. So, you know, I appreciate the opportunity first and foremost to be put into a reality where I can have vision. And that's if it's I agree 100%. I got vision, you know what I'm saying? I
think like the older brothers, man, they not gonna say to younger brothers that brother over there can, you know, better accommodate you because they want to feel that they can accommodate. But we looking at it, yeah, straight up. I'm just being honest. And so the fact of the matter is that I heard a Grand Sheik tell me that he's running a temple like I would run the temple. And I'm like, how do you know how I would run a temple? You know, but he do know some of the works I was doing inside, but he was just trying to tell me that at this point, he's doing everything right. I guess he ain't always did everything right. So now he feel like his temple deserves a chance to do whatever they say they're doing. But it don't cater to the interest of me and my young children. See, we young. We young over here. We got more life in our spirit. We ready to get some things done while we can so they can get motivated with the experience early was right here from the beginning, you know. So they can say one day who their granddad was and who their father was over here, you know. And that's how I'm gonna help the prophet try to teach it to your children, you know. And
real quick, while I got you on the line, I don't know if you had a chance to did you ever have a chance to look up the Treaty of Judah?
The Treaty of Judah?
Yes.
I think I did. I was looking at one. I think
and I might not be pronouncing it right. Here it is. Is that Jeddah or Judah?
Jeddah, yeah. I was like, Judah, yeah, Jeddah. I was looking at that, remember? 1927, right.
Now, mind you, the reason why this is relevant, let's go to the laws. Go to the laws. Let's see. Let's go to the laws here. Okay, right. So who is this?
The Sultan,
Right?
Abdul, Aziz,
Right? Aziz ibn Saul, right?
right.
Descendant of Hagar, now the head of the holy city of Mecca, right? So we just give a brief history. And this page, what? This page 2, if I'm not mistaken. This page 2 of the Holy Koran, right? That's no. We're almost there. I'm gonna find it. So, right, the key of civilization, right? This is chapter what? 45. The divine origin of the Asiatic nations. Divine instruction 2. The key of civilization was and is in the hands. Read that for me.
It says,
right? The key of civilization.
The key of civilization was and is in the hands of the Asiatic nations. The Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites, are the founders of the holy city of Mecca.
It said, and. It said, who were the ancient Moabites and.
The founders, right.
And the founders. So they not only was the ancient Moabites, they were the founders
of the holy city of Mecca.
Now, I don't know about you, but I ain't never know that before I read the Holy Koran. I ain't get that. I went to college at Oakland Community College on a scholarship. I took history. They ain't telling me that. I went to 12 years in the public school system. Nobody told me that. The only place that this information was located, I learned about it at, was right here at the North Science Temple of the Bear. Nobody told me that we was the founders of the holy city of Mecca, man. Nobody told me that. So he said the key of civilization, and then in this very same joint, right? From last Sunday, excuse my language, I'm talking about joint. From last Sunday school, hold on. Let me get the sister off the screen. Where did the Muslim go? Okay. Where did the Muslim go that quick? And the title of that one last Sunday school was "Are You Active?" Right?
Right.
So, as soon as you get power. Now, the last Sunday school, hold on. We're going to bring it to 154. We're going to pause it. Take it off mute.
The possibilities of religious tolerance.
Now, watch this.
So many centuries, paving the way for Europe's Renaissance and Enlightenment. It was innovation in Muslim communities. So many centuries, paving the way.
Hold on.
And we actually.
Here it comes. Here it comes. Stop. Now you heard what he just said, right?
What did he say?
You ain't hear what he said?
I didn't hear what he said.
Okay.
I heard him say something about civilization. I couldn't hear what he said first.
I'm about to give it back to you, okay? Pay close attention to this. This is critical. This is critical.
To the agreement where, for example, President Obama come out and say, well, the first nation to recognize my country is Morocco. And we actually,
it's important. Check it out.
I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
Did you hear that?
So he owed the civilization's debt to Islam?
He said, I also know civilization's debt to Islam.
Oh, okay.
President Barack Obama,
Right.
former president, he said, I also know civilization's debt to Islam, right?
Right.
And that was in 2011. Now, this was in 1927. Divine Instruction 2, the key of civilization. So Obama and the Prophet is talking about civilization with respect to Islam. Did you follow that?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm hearing you.
So the Prophet said the key of civilization was and is in our hands, right? He said it's in the hands of the Asiatic nations, the Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. Now, Obama is said that civilizations owe its debt to Islam.
Mm-hmm.
It was Islam that places like Ulazar that carried the light of learning through so many centuries, paving the way for Europe's Renaissance and Enlightenment. It was innovation in Muslim communities. It was innovation in Muslim communities that developed the order of algebra, our magnetic compass and tools of navigation, our mastery of pens and printing, our understanding of how disease spreads and how it can be healed. Islamic culture has given us majestic arches and soaring spires, timeless poetry and cherished music, endless poetry and places of peaceful contemplation. And throughout history, Islam has demonstrated through words and deeds the possibilities of religious tolerance and racial equality. I also know that Islam has always been a part of America's story. The first nation to recognize my country was Morocco. In signing the Treaty of Tripoli, 1796, our second president, John Adams, wrote, "The United States has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslims."
Now, did you hear what the Moor just said? Islam.
He said, learn about the, what did he say?
Did you hear what President Obama just said?
Yeah, he said, that's what he just said, learn about the treaty. The Muslim, what did he say?
He
Learn
said,
about what?
he said the first nation to recognize my country is Morocco and signing the treaty. The second president, John Adams, wrote. And then he went into the second treaty language. He went into the actual language of the Treaty of Tripoli. Now, Tripoli is one of the kingdoms we founded, right?
Right.
Where can you find that information at? What source can you find that at?
The treaty.
No,
Oh, the Holy Quran, right there in front of the book.
the Holy Quran, right?
Right.
So we saying the key of civilization. He said the same thing Obama said, but he said it in 1927.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the key of civilization was, meaning back then and now, is in the hands of the Asiatic nations, the Moorish, who were the ancient Moabites and the founders of the holy city of Mecca. So when you talk about Islam in America, and if it wasn't for Islam, civilization wouldn't even be here. That's what Obama said in his own words. I put it in my words, But that's what he just said up here. He gave the whole history.
Right.
Right? He said the first nation to recognize my country is Morocco. And he was referring to the empire. And he said that the second president, John Adams, wrote in the Treaty of Tripoli, as the government of the United States of America is not in any sense founded on the Christian religion, as it has in itself no character of enmity against the laws, religion, or tranquility of Muslim men. And the said states have never entered into any war or act of hostility against any Mohammedan nation. So going back to the prophet said, we founded these kingdoms. That's called this day: Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. The industrious acts of the Muslims. So now the prophet said, then here come Obama backing it up, and then you got the Saud. We're going back to the Sultan. Where's the Sultan at? Pull the Sultan back up. Look at that, the beginning of Christianity. What's going on?
You on page 2 right there.
They go to Sultan Abdul Aziz Ibn Saud, the descendant of Hagar, now the head of the holy city of Mecca. And they found the oil in 1933. The prophet published this in 1927, registered in Cook County in 1928, passed in 1925, 1929. They found the oil in 1930s. The 1930s, they bankrupted in 33. Since then, Saudi has been backing the Federal Reserve note, which is issued and borrowed from the Federal Reserve Central Bank, which was founded in 1913 AD. The same year the Moorish Science Temple of America was founded for the uplifting of fallen humanity amongst the Asiatic nation and race of North America. Now, to understand who Ibn Saud is better, you got to go into the 1927 Treaty of Jeddah. The British recognized the Saudi sovereignty over the Hejaz and the Najd regions. Jeddah eventually was incorporated into Saudi Arabia 1947. The city walls were demolished and rapid expansion followed. The city takes its name, which means actress or grandmother. Ancestress, excuse me. In the same year, Treaty of Jeddah negotiated between Ibn Saud, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As the British fully acknowledged the Saudi independence. A series of Muslim conferences sponsored by the Saudis and Hajj legitimized. Oh man, they won't even let me scroll down. What is this little screen here? So they dropping on the history. You hear me?
I know what you.
All right, let me pull this up off the screen. So here go the information on the brother on the Sauds on page 2 of the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America and his relationship to the Moors. Jeddah also spelled Jeddah or Judah, city and major port in central Hejaz region. It's a city and a major port. They talk about trade and commerce, man. They talking about, remember, the pharaohs dread the rivers for trade and transportation. So they breaking down the information. They said the city and major ports in central Hejaz region, western Saudi Arabia. It lies along the Red Sea west of Mecca. The principal import of Jeddah is history, in that it constituted the port of what? Of Mecca. Aren't you under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca? Islam. And was thus the site where the majority of Muslim pilgrims landed while journeying to the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. The city, in fact, owed its commercial foundation to the Caliph of Uthman, who in 646 made it it the port of Muslim pilgrims crossing the Red Sea. Excuse me, I thought I read the same thing. In 1916, Jeddah and the Turkish garrison surrendered to British forces. Surrendered to British forces. I don't know what's going on in my reading tonight. It then formed part of the kingdom of Hejaz until 1925, when it was captured by who? Ibn Saud. So in 1925, Ibn Saud captured Hejaz. This was all with the ports and the pilgrimage to the holy cities about the finance and the religion. Where was that at? It then formed part of the kingdom of Judah until 1925, when it was captured by Ibn Saud. In 1927, the Treaty of Judah, the British recognized Saudi sovereignty over the Hejaz and Najd regions. Judah eventually was incorporated in Saudi Arabia. In 1947, the city's walls were demolished and rapid expansion followed. The city takes its name, okay, we already read all that. From the location thereof, the reputed tomb of Eve. Okay, let me read that. The city takes its name, which means ancestress or grandmother, from the location thereof, the reputed tomb of Eve, which was destroyed in 1928 by the Saudi government, whose Wahhabi learnings taught that it encouraged shirk idolatry. So it's breaking down the history right here more. So this is very important too, by the way. Let me pull out of here real quick. Let me pull out of here. Islam. Let me pull out of here. Let me pull us out. We gotta get ready. Let me pull us up out of here, more.
I said, yeah, well, yeah, I get more familiar with it because I did read that. I remember I said, you had me check that out.
Yeah. Listen.
Yeah, the kind of information that's available that people don't know nothing about, they can unlock some little simple. It's a lot of doors though. It's like the keys to the kingdom, man. You got to get in there with the right keys.
Now the prophet got the right key. He said the key. He put it in our hand. He said it's in the hands. It's in our hands. He said study the Holy Koran, the divine constitution and bylaws.
Everything can take examination.
And then you supposed to enforce it on this face value. That's why he put the faces in there.
Mm-hmm.
Like you ain't got your face on nothing. The prophet face on the divine constitution. The prophet face in the Holy Koran. Ibn Saud face in there. He ain't got your face in there. He said, don't worry about your name. Don't put nothing in your name. Put everything in my name, my temple name. Just let me know what's on me.
Right.
They found the oil after the prophet made a transition in 1929. They backed the dollar is backed by, that's called the petrodollar, which is why the war over there in Ukraine is getting so much attention, because we acted against Russia. So Russia and China got together and set up their own system, which we call it act against us. Now you got inflation because Russia been providing the energy, which is the oil and natural gases.
Mm-hmm.
They're the third largest in the world. Saudi number one. So we called the Sauds up, like, look, our partners in the EU, they need oil. We need y'all to supply. They like, and they didn't even answer the phone. They didn't even answer the phone. They going crazy on the in the news world. So the Crown Prince didn't answer the phone for the President Joe Biden. They going crazy. Now gas prices skyrocketing because we don't want to use oil and natural gas that we produce over here that Trump exposed. That's how we didn't have. Remember Trump, we was the first time in 2019 that we ever been energy independent, meaning that we not buying oil and natural gas from nobody else. We getting our own stuff. We got our own stuff. We putting on. Y'all come hollering at us now. We got oil. We got oil cheaper than they got. We bigger than Saudi and Russia combined when it comes to oil. That's how much oil and natural gas we got. So the point I'm trying to make is I'm sitting here studying and learning. I'm seeing that all these actions and interactions. Wait a minute. That's our oil. That's our natural gas. These are lands and dominions. All of these are Muslims. Now I'm looking at the church negotiating peace talks between Russia and Ukraine. They doing business with both. I said, wait a minute, the church, the descendants of Hagar, the Chinese, all of these are Muslims. So I'm like, wait a minute, the prophet, going back to 1927, when he published this Holy Quran, he said all rights are published in this pamphlet of 1927, more. So I went into the political events of what was going on in 1927. What was going on in the world, politically, economically, in 1927. And I found the Treaty of Judah. Wait a minute, Treaty of Judah. Ibn Saud, the head of the Holy City of Mecca. We just found out how he became the head of the Holy City of Mecca. He captured the Hajj in Mecca in 1925 and incorporated it in 1927 to the Saudi Arabia. Then was recognized by the British as sovereign, first king of Saudi Arabia. Now here comes the prophet. Ding. A prophet is over a sultan. And they in Africa. They in Africa. Hey, all that is the holy land of the Moors. We got a pre-existing claim. So our relations, nationality determines the individual's political status, especially with reference to allegiance. Who are we in allegiance with? Well, we built these kingdoms. Morocco, it's now known as that. Before then, it was a Moroccan Empire, and we are the heirs of the Moroccan Empire. That's North, South Americas, Mexico, and the adjoining islands. North, East, and Southwest Africa. Holy Land of Asia. Into the Holy City of Mecca. What? Well, 1774. And when was the head of Byzantine taken off? 1453. So you got to go and study in that political timeline what took place in 1453, which hits the crescent of the moon. In part, in reference to city and port that was covered by the Moors or the Muslims, which were Moors, which is Muslims. We're the founders of the Holy City of Mecca. We're the founders of the Holy City of Mecca, bro. We come to return the true and divine creed of Islam. Well, who authorized you? Prophet Noble Drew Ali, the commander-in-chief. And he filed it for the record as evidence, Islam, in front of any court. As evidence, the law of evidence. One must be the same as he's claiming to be. In all measures, all situations, all circumstances. Well, yeah, I'm moving around my fed zone. Okay, matter of fact, all these are planned movements anyways. Oh, I got to be here, 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 here. Why? Because I got a mission. I'm on a mission. Our mission is to open up dialogue to establish exactly what was supposed to have been going on for eons. We got to feed our people. We got to take care of our people. That's what leaders do. That's what men in the house do. Husbands support life and charity. And Allah is the husband man of everything. So who owned the gas stations? That's the energy sector. These are energy units, energy supplies. Well, our nation needs energy. The more the more shares. That's a nation. And we have a state and an organization established for the administration of our affairs, of our internal affairs. So we organize in our approach. We got our ministers, we got our sheiks and sheikesses, we got our acts, we got a system of government in place, operating and functioning. And we cling into our heritage, our principles, our culture. We cling into the law. The law must live. The law comes from us. It's birthed by us. Well, I just read the Treaty of Tripoli Treaty that John Adams wrote that the United States government is not founded on Christian religion. But we got the beginning of Christianity right here in the Holy Quran Circus Africa, when Jesus was crucified under the Roman yoke and law, because he seeked to redeem people from their sinful ways. The prophet. So
they did on this holy day too. Ain't that ironic?
you know what I mean? So we don't come into the temples like my grandfathers in the beginning, like the prophet told them. Hey man, for the third and fourth, they're gonna come in with their eyes wide open and be on the law. They know the law. We know the law. We just read the law. Plain and clear to you. Wait a minute. Who was El-Bashaw? Look, El-Bashaw history right here. These Moors captured, they took over. Well, who was in rulership and how did they get in that position in the holy city of Mecca before El-Bashaw? I want to know the history. Then we're going to go into Ali now. So, whoa, wait a minute. The Hashemites, yeah. We're going to go into their rule, how they got in position, and all these wars that's been taking place. That's transitioning new rulership for new rulership for new rulership. But guess what? We the Aborigines. What that mean? Man, we predate that. That's our land. It's our land. It's our land. Our claim is preserved in law. Y'all subject to the law, trying to take on our identity. Islam. That's why the prophet said, I can't even give the divine creed of Islam. How did my people get cut out? The Moors were stripped of their nationality in 1774. Now we got to what? Divide up under our vine and fig tree and claim our own. We're in this place you can meet us. That's why I always, who made you? Allah. Okay, then, well, you property. All religious property is tax exempt. I don't mean to jump around. I'm just saying, for example. Why wouldn't it be? You an heir to the estate. Who can tax you for the transfer of what's already yours? Your job is to make the claim and live accordingly to what? To law. What the law say? It's an insurance policy. It's like a life insurance policy. It's what your ancestors left it for. That's what the prophet said. They put their name upon trust. He said they put their names. They put their trust upon issue in names that they formed. So that's they created these names. That's invention. That's a creation. So yeah, that's copywritten. Yeah, that's reserved and registered at law. The prophet said the names themselves is covered by. You know what I'm saying? So the point of the workshop of the mind today, series 1, was more about manifesting, the connecting, the connector. What binds us to love and unity? And man, all of these are Muslims, man. The currency is backed by the oil. The oil comes from the land. The gold and silver, precious metals come from the land. The question is, who is the heirs to the estate, the land? That's the question. That's the focus. They got you, this. It's about dominion. You remember that key term, dominion? The Moabite dominion, chapter 47. Instruction 6, 7, divine instruction 6, 7, and 8. The Moabite dominion. Now you go into the, and I know we gotta go. My screen right here. You go right to the founders.archives.gov, Washington, D.C. Right to George Washington, to the Emperor of Morocco, 1789. Remember, the Moors were stripped their nationality in 1774. Those names was given in 1779. 10 years earlier, 10 years later, here go my man, George Washington, first president under that Constitution of 1787, ratified in 1789, to Sidi Muhammad, right? So right up in here, George Washington, like, look, in the first paragraph, he said, since the day of the letter which the late Congress by their president addressed your imperial majesty, the United States of America have thought proper to change their government and to institute a new one agreeable to the Constitution, of which I have the honor of herewith enclosing a copy. Now look at that, bro. In an opening statement, we formed our government agreeable to the Constitution. To the Constitution. They had to put themselves together. If they wanted to be recognized as a nation state, they had to form their government agreeable to our Constitution. It's the lease agreement. And he said, I got a copy of how everything's set up right here, enclosing the copy. The time necessarily employed in the arduous task and arrangements occasioned to be by so great thought peaceably a revolution will apologize and account for your majesties not having received those regular advices and marks of attention. You're talking about paying taxes from the United States, which the friendship and magnanimity of your conduct towards them afforded reason to expect. And he talks about, in this paragraph, he just talked about he was appointed, and he kind of breaking down. He said the United States have unanimously appointed to me the supreme executive authority in this nation. Your Majesty's letter of the 17th of August, 1788, which by reason of dissolution of the late Congress remain unanswered and have been delivered to me. I have also received the letters which your Imperial Majesties has been so kind to write in favor of the United States to the Bashaws of Tunis and what? And Tripoli. So going to the last paragraph, or the second to the last, say it gives me here go this paragraph right here. He said the encouragement to which your majesty has been pleased generously to give to our commerce with what? Your dominions. So they go that key word again, right? They keep talking about dominions.
And I just seen another I'm gonna tap into it. I just saved it. That letter from George Washington to Sidi Muhammad. Then I got the letter to the Emperor of Morocco also in 1791. I'm gonna check that out as well.
So dominion means ownership or right to property. So what are we talking about, bro? Can't let nobody distract us in this time and era. Dominion means ownership or right to property. The claim has been filed by the property and organizing of the organization, i.e. the trust organization, i.e. the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's an express trust, meaning everything is in what? Writing and under seal. That's what that means. It's lawful and it's legal. And it's the authority, our authority. Dominion means ownership and right to property.
Yeah, and that's
and like I said, what did my forefathers say? They said the prophet said, I laid down the foundation, I build on it. They building on our land. It's our responsibility. We have, hold on. I got it for you. I got it for you in our shopping, man. I got it for you. 22 USC 141 178. Let me see if it's gonna pull up. I want it to go straight here. Definitions, right? You follow?
Which?
No, that's 18. That is the Library of Congress. That's libraryofcongress.gov, right? You see where we're going to, right?
Right.
We're going to all government websites. Oh, right here. Say ministers. It gives us a definition of ministers in relation to our authority, judicial authority. But I gotta find the exact language. I was hoping it would have pulled straight up, straight to what I had up here earlier. But in my last meeting, I it's on there. I got it all on there. Where it breaks down, because you got to go. That's all it got. This ain't the right one. It's the right one. I just got to find the right language. But the point I'm trying to make is, man, how do I get to that? I had it on here earlier, man. Let's see, 22. But what the point I'm trying to make in relation to what I'm talking about? It'll take too long to get to that. But what? Oh, matter of fact, I got it right here. I'm tripping. I think I got it right here. Yeah, I do. What is minister and counsel? The word minister, when used in this chapter, talking about chapter 22 of the United States Code, section 141 through 178, means the person invested with and exercising the principles, diplomatic function. The word counsel should be understood to mean any person invested with that authority. And so the term minister, when we get educated on it, we get it in a more sense like the experience. Let me pull our screen back up. I'll get back to that. They're giving it to us in a de facto way. We supposed to apply all definitions and terminologies in accordance with law. So what does the law define a minister, a sheep, and authority? What does the law define? And what is law? Constitutional law. In a dictionary, Black's Law Dictionary, where you define those terms in accordance with law. So when you proclaim your nationality, now you tapping back into your political status. I'm Moroccan. I'm Moorish American. I'm a descendant of Moroccan. So the nation is Moroccan. So now you got to go back into those relations, those lawful relations. We got legal contracts between these nation states and us. And so a lot of our issues, like the prophet said, really all of our issues is for one issue, which is what he already told us. Our names, our free national names, our nationality, and our principles. Right. You can't be moving around here like you Negro, Black, and colored. And be talking about anything that's uncivilized, basically. You can't be moving about in an uncivilized manner. That's fraud. But not more importantly, but equally important is when you know the history. It's when you know the history. It's when you know who, what, why, when, where. Okay, so who is El-Bashaw? Well, El-Bashaw captured Mecca and Medina and incorporated all that stuff over there. What's going on? Who was in position before him, before he captured it? Mm-hmm. So why did it happen in 1927? Remember, the prophet said the reason why these secret lessons weren't known is because they held them back from the outside world until the time appointed. So the time appointed in 1913 through 1929, in 1927, in 1928, it was a transfer of power. The British went in business with the Saws. The Saw captured everything over there. And now he the head of the holy city in Mecca, 1913. 1927. The prophet say, all authority and rights of publishing of this pamphlet in 1927. Then we went to Tripoli and found out that the United States government is founded on Muslim law. And Obama told us that. Our flag is over 10,000 years old. The first nation to recognize my country is Morocco. And he was in reference to the empire. And so was the prophet. Noble Drew Ali was in reference to the empire. Right?
Right.
The prophet was very much talking about the Moroccan empire. I could pull that up too. So that's why the prophet said, know thyself. Well, who was Ibn Saul? Who was Ibn Saul? How did we skip past page 2?
Mm-hmm.
So page 2 reveals Ibn Saul. Ibn Saul is his family currently to this day is the trustees over the ruling class over Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is new. It's not an old time. That's new.
You know that's new.
He went in and said that was established when he captured it in 1925, incorporated in 1927. The same year the prophet dropped the Moorish, the will of Allah. And then on your national identification cards, it says what? I hereby declare, I do hereby declare, you are a Muslim. Under the divine laws of the Holy Koran of Mecca, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. All rights and authority. All authority was in the prophet. The prophet declared this. The prophet is over a sultan. So they went in and captured, then the prophet, and there was a transfer of power given to the prophet. Power and authority. He told you where his authority come from. He said, I was ordained by Allah to redeem man from his sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwest and the southwestern shores of Africa. The
Holy Quran of Mecca also make mention to who we are and how special we are. And so, you know, with everything the prophet got out of there, they got to know who they are. And it speaks about us all the time. You know?
The point I'm trying to make is the fact that this is why it's important to open up the dialogue. We got to have diplomatic relations. We got to be sitting down with the imams, the rabbis. We got to open up dialogue with the Israelis, the Palestinians, the Pakistanians, the Chinese, Nicaraguans. As a Grand Sheikh, my mission is to have all of this established, these lines of communications with the nations of the earth to better service our nation, to better service our memberships within our nation. Because without the resources, the resources from the relations, because the issue once again is dominion. We are the heirs to the Moroccan Empire and the founders. We are the founders and true possessors. So we in possession of the Moroccan Empire. And right now they in possession of us. And so this condition was reversed in 1913 AD with the founding of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These conditions were reversed, meaning we went from civically dead to in full life and light, meaning in full knowledge, competent, of age, no longer a minor and subject to being a ward of the state. Why? Well, I'm Allah's property. Who made me? Allah. How can I be state property? It doesn't make sense. This is not my nation state. I'm a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I'm Muslim, and I'm a citizen by way of treaty. This the Moroccan Empire. My issue is nationality, not naturalization, because nationality arises from birth or naturalization. My issue is birthright. For all Moorish Americans, etc. We honor all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius. May the blessing of the God of our Father Allah be upon you that carry this card. May the protections be upon you that carry this card. So you in possession is 9/10 of carrying this card. You in compliance with the treaty law, which is Article 4 of every single treaty with all the Muslim kingdoms that we built. Our friends is known by way of identification. Identification is proof of identity. You being the same as what you claiming to be. That's law and order. So that's why you say, well, the picture is on the divine constitution. Here go the picture of the prophet right here. You don't need to see me. When you see me, you see the Fed. You see me being identical. That's what I claim to be. I'm a son of Allah. I'm a revealer of the light. I'm Muslim. What is his nationality? Moorish American. What is my nationality? Moorish American. Why? Because we are descendants of Moroccans born in America. What is my religion? Islamism. Meaning I'm a Moorish practitioner. I'm actively practicing the science of Islam, which is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it's my official capacity. And excuse me, sir, see your license and registration? No problem. The Moors received permission from the pharaohs. Oh, wow. But I got a fez in my royal garb on. What can they say? They think they see the demigod. They say, whoa. I never get it, man. I was on the highway. They pulled me over. Me and my partner, man, he was practicing, attempting to practice, and he wasn't as adept. And it converted all power and authority, transferred over to me. And I exercised every bit of my birthrights under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And the only thing the highwaymen, the British highwaymen, can say is what? How did you do this? That's all they can say. They maintained the peace and turned into friends under the Peace and Friendship Treaty of 1784. And filed in the courts in 87. In the Moroccan courts. And then translated over into English for Congress to ratify in 89 with the Constitution. All debts and contracts entered into before the adoption of this Constitution is valid under the United States as under the Articles of Confederation. The treaties made or which shall be made shall be the supreme authority. So this is supreme law. The supreme law of the land. And all judges, representatives, executive, everybody is subject. Meaning that they what? They Muslims. By and through naturalization. Why? Because the United States is founded on a Muslim law called the Constitution. That's why they got to take an oath to what? To be bound by oath.
I'm looking at my thing, man. It's gonna probably down, young. My juice ain't.
Yeah, we gotta go. I gotta go anyways, man. I gotta get ready for temple in about 20 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna put this thing on the charger for a second.
All right, man. I get with you in a minute.
Hey, I kept looking. I said, "It's in the red zone. It's still holding up, though."
Yeah, I get to go on sometimes, man. But I sure appreciate you coming on in the workshop of the mind more.
Islam, and we're gonna try to bring some more people on, man. Open up some more dialogue with them young brothers. I'm trying to get them on here, man. So
all is well. All is well.
So all is well. We just meet again. Just let me know when you're ready. The next workshop.
I got you, Warren. I get on you in a minute.
Islam.
Peace.